Welcome to the Explainer. So here's the deal. As artificial intelligence expands across literally every sector, it's not just the ultimate productivity booster we've been waiting for. It is an entirely new, highly vulnerable attack surface. The bad guys are already using AI, which means your standard security playbook? Yeah, it's officially obsolete. Today, we are taking a masterclass in the standard operating procedures required to defend this wild new AI frontier. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the AI security landscape, move into protecting workloads and endpoints, cover automating ops and networks, look at the global compliance rulebook, and finish up by helping you choose your AI defense.
All right, Section 1, the AI security landscape. Let's set the stage.
Listen, AI is not just another shiny IT tool we can plug in and forget about. Standard operating procedures simply will not cut it anymore. When we deploy AI, we are inviting unprecedented vulnerabilities into our environments. We're talking about adversarial attacks, model theft, and real-time data poisoning attempts. It's like a whole new battlefield, and because of that, we literally need specialized defense forces to combat these highly sophisticated threats.
Moving on to Section 2, protecting workloads and endpoints. This is your first line of defense.
So how do we actually build that first line of defense? Well, let's look at the rapid 5-step initial setup for Palo Alto Networks AI Runtime Security. Most folks just call it AIRS. First, you enable the license, then configure your data inspection interface. Step 3, you define your AI workload zones, actively enable ML model protection, and finally set up your alerting. For example, you might forward logs to a Splunk SIEM, essentially your central command center, at 192.168.5.100. It is a very actionable, streamlined flow to get runtime protection online fast. Now, to see what this looks like in the wild, let's consider how a company like TechCorp Industries configures their network. What's really interesting here is how they intentionally isolate their machine learning environment into a specific AI workload subnet at 10.50.0.0/16. That kind of network segmentation is exactly how you protect highly sensitive ML workloads from broader network lateral movement. It's basically putting your models in a digital vault. You can kind of think of these specialized tools as having entirely different jurisdictions. Palo Alto AIRS, that's your workload guardian. Its whole focus is AI runtime security and model protection. CrowdStrike Falcon AI, on the other hand, is your endpoint detective. It secures devices right at the edge through advanced behavioral analytics. So two completely different operational focuses for two very different attack vectors. So, how do we get the endpoint detective up and running? Let's check out the deployment steps for CrowdStrike Falcon AI. Notice Step 5 in particular. When a smart organization like SecureFlow Enterprises rolls this out, they don't just quietly turn it on. They configure the prevention policy to extra aggressive mode for AI threat blocking. This ensures maximum endpoint defense, leaning heavily on machine learning to stop threats before they even have a chance to execute.
But hey, as you know, administration isn't a set-it-and-forget-it deal. Otherwise, we'd all be out of a job, right? The daily operational tempo requires constantly checking sensor health and analyzing threat graphs so you don't get hit with the dreaded alert fatigue. And administrators are incredibly empowered here. By running a simple Falcon query language, or FQL search, like looking for Windows platform events with a high severity and the technique machine learning, they can proactively hunt for high-confidence AI-detected threats on the network.
Okay, Section 3, automating ops and networks. We're looking at SOC and perimeter defense now.
When it comes to SOC automation, a lot of teams turn to Microsoft Security Copilot. Here's how DataShield Corporation sets it up. You obviously need those M365E5 licenses first, but the real magic happens in steps 3 and 5. By connecting Copilot directly to their Microsoft Sentinel Log Analytics workspace and carefully configuring role-based access control, or RBAC, Copilot acts as the ultimate SOC automator. It generates AI-powered insights securely from across their entire enterprise data pool. In practice, this kind of automation is an absolute game changer. Copilot uses KQL, Kusto Query Language, to instantly flag AI-detected anomalies. This specific query filters sign-in logs to immediately surface any instances where the risk level is high and the state is at risk. It proves that AI defense isn't just about blocking bad traffic. It's about making your threat hunting incredibly fast and ruthlessly efficient. Now let's shift gears from the SOC over to the Network Sentinel, Fortinet AI Security. The setup here is all about integrating threat intelligence directly into the firewall.
You enable FortiGuard AI, configure AI-based antivirus inspection, ensure your logs are flowing to FortiAnalyzer, and then, this is absolutely crucial, enable AI-driven firewall policies. Why does this matter? Because you are building a fabric of AI detection right at your network's gateways. Threats get stopped at the front door, way before they ever reach your servers.
Take NetGuard Solutions as a prime example of how this architecture flows in production. They route their traffic through a FortiGate management IP, bridging the public-facing WAN interface at 203.0.113.10/29, all the way down to their internal LAN interface at 10.0.0.1. Because it's structured this way, FortiGuard AI is inspecting absolutely everything passing from the outside world into the internal network, and it's constantly checking in with the AI update server to stay current.
Moving right along to Section 4, the Global Compliance Rulebook. Time to talk frameworks and standards.
You know, the NIST cybersecurity framework is basically the gold standard for security, but applying it to AI, that requires some very specific, concrete changes. Take the recover phase, for instance. Under NIST, recovery planning now means you must maintain AI model version backups and rollback procedures. It's no longer just about backing up your data, it's about backing up the specific, exact versions of your machine learning models.
And then, of course, there's the sheer, panic-inducing reality of an ISO 27001 audit. When it comes to ISO and AI, you really want to pay close attention to Control A.8.11 data masking. I mean, you wouldn't hand an AI robot a top-secret unredacted file, right? Achieving compliance here means you absolutely must sanitize and mask your AI model training datasets before feeding them in. You just cannot use raw, sensitive enterprise data if you want to pass that audit.
There's a whole alphabet soup of other mandates you absolutely have to grasp, and honestly, the clock is ticking on all of them. Per GDPR, if your AI processes EU data, it has to comply with Article 22 regarding automated decision-making, plus you need to maintain detailed processing records under Article 30. And if you're in critical infrastructure, under NIS2, any AI security incident must be reported within a strict 24-hour window. The compliance stakes are incredibly high right now, and the deadlines are totally unforgiving.
Finally, we arrive at Section 5, choosing your AI defense. Which tool actually fits best?
When you put these 4 solutions side by side, the thing you really want to pay special attention to is how they charge and deploy. Palo Alto charges per protected model, making it highly specific to your ML assets. CrowdStrike charges per endpoint. Microsoft operates on a per-user basis within its SaaS ecosystem. Ultimately, your existing infrastructure and your budget model are going to heavily dictate which path you choose.
So, to make it crystal clear, here are some core selection guidelines. If your organization is building or running heavy AI and ML workloads that demand deep, real-time protection from adversarial attacks, you choose Palo Alto AI-RS. But if your primary concern is securing thousands of user devices from AI-generated threats using advanced behavioral analytics, you select CrowdStrike Falcon AI. And rounding out those guidelines, if you are already deeply embedded in the Microsoft 365 ecosystem and you really want to automate your SOC, deploying Microsoft Security Copilot is the logical choice. On the flip side, if you require network-centric threat detection, and maybe you already have existing firewall hardware on site, implementing Fortinet's AI security is going to lock down that perimeter perfectly. So, I want to leave you with this provocative thought to consider today. As AI completely redefines what our attack surface looks like, is your organization truly ready to secure the AI frontier? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this masterclass gives you the exact tools you need to evaluate and strengthen your own security posture. Keep learning, keep analyzing, and stay secure.